I'm going to tell you a very uncomfortable truth that will save you months of wasted effort. E-commerce brands don't buy AI tools. Very controversial, right? How do I know this? I spent 15 years inside of large 9-figure e-commerce companies, and I know exactly what a head of e-commerce responds to and what they ignore. And the main problem that we have today is that the majority of AI vendors that are selling tools and are selling different kind of workflows do not understand their problems and they do not understand their language. And what I'm going to do today in this video is explain to you what kind of language they respond to and what exactly you need to do next to be heard and to have them respond to your emails. Now let's understand exactly what keeps these people awake at night. And I'm talking about heads of e-commerce, I'm talking about directors and founders. And we'll paint a very simple picture. It's a Monday morning and the weekend report has just landed. And the heads of web and paid and CRM have all seen that revenue has dropped anywhere between 10 to 15%, which is a problem. And this is compared to the previous week. So the head of e-commerce is in meetings from 9 till 12 o'clock and they need to find an answer by 12 o'clock because he or she needs to report back to the director to understand what happened, what dropped, and what we need to do next. So some of the real problems that heads of e-commerce have is to align all stakeholders to understand, okay, was it a campaign that underperformed? Was it a paid channel, for example? Was it a meta ad that underperformed? Or was there a landing page, was a CTA broken? Or was our mobile checkout broken? Okay, so you need to understand what real problems they actually go through before you start pitching them chatbots or anything to do with email flows that sit at the end of a journey to retain a particular customer. These people have bigger problems, and if they see an email land which says, I sell AI tools, honestly, it's going to get deleted. Why? Because you're not speaking their language, you're not understanding the world that they live in, and by no means are you going to tackle some of the biggest problems that they have, which is to recover lost revenue, to understand why conversion rate dropped, to understand why there are breaks in the actual funnel of the customer journey end to end. And these problems, if you can understand them, and the only way you can do this is by being on the inside, is the only way you're going to get a response and they're going to entertain what you have to offer. It's very important to understand why your pitch is getting ignored. Let's take two scenarios or two different types of emails that land in the inbox of your ideal customer profile. So email one reads, I build AI workflows for e-commerce companies. Guess what? Delete. Email number two, I build AI agents that can save you 10 hours a week. Guess what? Delete. Why are these emails getting ignored? Because you've still not understood the language and the problems that they actually go through. Now, there's two types of people. There's going to be those AI guys that come in and sell technology. They will get ignored because there are plenty of tools out there, and there are certainly enough talented people who understand how to build an N8N workflow or a make.com workflow and know how to use Claude Code and Claude Cowork, etc. Okay, the people that will actually get heard and be given a chance to pitch to decision makers are those that understand outcomes. How do I know this? Because when I was on the inside, these are the types of people that I used to respond to. Now, every single day we would receive tons of emails and tons of phone calls, and most of them would get ignored because they've simply not understood our problem, and they do not understand that we are outcome driven. We need to know how to drive the numbers. And if you can build tools, and if you can actually understand the workflows that go behind what it takes to solve the problems of detecting revenue leaks and to catch conversion rate before it drops and to launch campaigns not in 3 months for a playbook which aligns all different types of stakeholders, but in 3 hours. And this can be done, and I know it can be done because I've built it myself. And this was a problem that I used to challenge all the time. If you can answer some of these questions, now they want to speak to you. So let me tell you what this channel is about and what I'm actually building and why I'm even doing it. So for the last 5 to 6 years, I've spent in corporate companies. Now, prior to that, I was a founder for 10 years plus. And I always had a startup hat on in a corporate environment, so I always challenged the way things worked. Now, I took a lot out of corporate, however, I always wanted to understand how can we do this better. And I've used every single operational tool. I mean, you can name me any tool around design, around analytics, around conversion rate optimization, around paid ads. Honestly, I've used every single tool and I know where the flaws are, where the gaps are, and where the opportunities are. So what I'm actually doing is building tools using AI, which can trim down the operational tools that corporate companies are using today and can create efficiencies in time, in cost, in productivity, and in quality execution, which is a very big thing for me as well. Now, the reason I'm doing this public and the reason I am sharing this knowledge is because I see so many AI guys that are just building the tools or are teaching how to use the tools through tutorials and are not understanding the real problems. So if this is the type of content that you are interested in watching more, in listening more, by all means, you can drop comments to give me more ideas. However, I already have a list as long as my arm as to what I'm going to be building and what I'm going to be showing you, that these are the tools that will solve their problems. If this is the content that you want to see, then please do go ahead and subscribe. And I'll also be dropping a link to the free community in the description below. So do join that as well.